Ya'u Uma E Uda was goody to the goddess and the gods and was popping to the people. And well, like we always do about this time, we gonna get it. We gonna get it really, really popping tonight. Uh yeah, it's up, man. It's a lot. I got a lot for the night. I know we semi touched on we've been in this area a lot lately. So I'm gonna bring it all to a nucleus so y'all can see. It's almost like I was Mr. Miyagi making y'all hang up coats and shit. Now I'm gonna show you what you know, what you really know. Uh Yahoo, my peace to the goddess. So we gonna tie it all in. Everything we've been talking about, we're gonna tie it into a package and make it make sense. Yahoo Uma. So I'm gonna show us how everything is one thing. And that's always my mission. When we do all of these different things, I want to show y'all how everything is connected. All is one. And they give you so many different things. And so from your viewpoint, these are all separate things. So you analyze them separately and you get separate opinion. But what if it was the all one thing and you could understand what the nucleus of that thing is? And so that's what that's what we're gonna really focus on with what I'm doing tonight is to show you how this this Olympic thing, this Ray J thing, um, all of this is one thing, and um, somebody was like, why you throw the breakdancer on there? She's a transgender. No, 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 no. I knew that was gonna throw people off, but see, you gotta read the fine print. You assume that this is a show about transgenders. No, this show is about uh, a condition, we'll say. A condition that a lot of not only Americans, but humans all around the world suffer from this extreme conditioning. And it is a result of colonization. This is another result of colonization that has not. I'm breaking this story for y'all. All of all of the big wigs up top been studying, and they missed what I'm about to diagnose. So we are pioneering a mental disorder yet to be discovered by the public, or to be discovered by the top physicians worldwide. And you get it here first from me. Now I know what you're thinking. Ain't no way this Negro got some information that all the top physicians don't have. Well, if you believe that, then I have a beachfront house in Canada I would like to sell you right now. So, here's the condition. That is a condition of colonization that has been undiscovered by all of the top scholars on the planet. And I caught it. It is called, let me show y'all. Okay. Did you read the fine print? It is called delusional phobia. Delusional phobia. It will be a clinical term at a later date once the big wigs see what I've put together. They're going to have no choice but to respect my scholarship. So, delusional phobia. That's what we're dealing with tonight. Delusional phobia. Oh, my dude Ed in the building, CMB in the building. What up, family? So, hey, this is a great night for you to come to, my dude. I'm breaking clinical terms undiscovered by the rest of the planet. Tonight is the very first time this term has ever been introduced to the masses. And your boy did it. So, this will someday, once I convince a whole lot of white people and fight for my life, one day this will be a term. The term, let me show you one more time. The term is called delusional phobia. That's the term. We live in a world, down south, connect, what's happening, kinfolk? We live in a world where if I wake up tomorrow, I'm 46, about to be 47. If I wake up tomorrow, after 46 years of being a man, we live in a world where I can wake up tomorrow and say, I identify with being a woman. Change my name to Juliana or some shit. And not only can I do that, after I do it, I now have the right to get mad at you if you don't honor that. And then the problem becomes you, not me. So, me, who spent 46 years as a man, if I wake up tomorrow and no longer want to be Yudi, I want to be Yudiani, and I throw on a wig, I can even keep my mustache and beard, it don't even matter. And I throw on a wig, the rest of the world immediately has to honor that. And anyone who does not honor me in a wig with a beard and a mustache, who spent 46 years as a man, anybody who does not honor that, you are now the problem, not me. This is the first time in human history we've been in such a situation. So now, we got to get, it's crazy how so many people claim to believe in the Bible or believe in some form of God. It don't have to be the biblical God, but most of y'all believe in the biblical God. And the same people who say they believe in the biblical God say that they don't care about transgender. Now, the problem is that people equate the biblical God with the God. So, according to the Bible says that a man can't lay with another man like he lays with a woman. So, people who say that they're Christians and support the Bible, yet and still support homosexuality, and some of them even are homosexuals. And now we have homosexual Christians and preachers. So now, here's where God comes into play with the transgender thing. See, I'm not all kind of Black Power King. See, I'm not coming down such a narrow avenue where I'm going to say, because you trans or because you're homosexual, you're going to hell. That's not what you're dealing with. I'm not dealing with that at all. Here's what I'm dealing with. If we say that there is a God. Now, we're not specifying. I don't care what your religious preference is. Whatever that religious preference is, if there's a God inside of that religion, we'll just deal with that. Okay, now, if you believe in the conceptuality of what God is, God created all. That means the people. Okay, now, by definition, transgender people are saying that they, like, for instance, you'll have a man and he'll call himself a trans woman. And his defense is he's never fit in, he's always felt different, and this is something that happened at an early age. So then they take it a step further and say they are a woman trapped inside a man's body. So then they take it a step further and say, I'm not supposed to be a man. I feel more woman than man. So then they take it a step further and they start taking hormone pills and augmenting their body. So now here's where God comes in at. Every year, the numbers on people who identify with being transgender are doubling. The people who support it are skyrocketing. So here's where God comes in. That means God made millions of mistakes. We're not talking, it's God. Of course, we want God to know everything. But suffices me to say, from my personal perspective, let's just say God's been around for eons. I'm okay with 3 mistakes out of eons. And I'm going to tell you why. Because I don't know how fucking long eons is. I just know it's longer than trillions of years. So that's a long time to be doing shit. And if all we got is 3 fuck-ups in eons, I'll take it. My point is, I could accept God making a few oopses. But I can't accept God fucking up a couple million times. So this is the problem. This is the problem. You have to evaluate what you think. So now, here's what we deal with. Here's what we deal with. We have to deal with your rights versus my rights. You have the right to wake up tomorrow and feel however you choose to feel. That's beyond me. You don't have the right to wake up tomorrow, feel how you choose to feel, and then feel offended if I don't accept it. That's where the issue comes in at. Because there's an undertone here that we're going to take a real live look at. Because we pretend as if everything is not science and history. I don't even put religion into that box because religion is only science and history in a story form. So all you really have, science, math, history. That's it. Everything falls under there somewhere. So now, here's the science part. The human being is such an intricate machine. It's one of the greatest machines that God has ever created. And here's how you know. Because what do they say about humans? They say humans are a fairly new species. So we have to put logic to this. If God has been creating different species for eons, and we're the new kids on the block, it would stand to reason, just like any good scientist, mathematician, or builder, you get better. You get better. So if you get better and it's eons later, then we got to be looking at human beings as some of the most intricate creations of the creator ever. Because it's the newest, meaning he's had eons to perfect his craft. And now it's us. So we must be something extraordinarily high tech. Meaning there is no millions of fuck ups because there's no recall. So we have to say, what are we really looking at? Kareem, what's going on, King? Because we have to evaluate this thing from a non-emotional perspective. So the reason why I brought up history, from a historical perspective, do you understand who controls you, who rules you, who presides over you? In this country called America, what type of nation is this? What principles was it built on? Who built it? What's the thought process? What's the blueprint? What are you looking at? You're looking at modern day Rome. So that changes a few things. Hold on, Cash Cutter. Oh, what's going on, King? So the white man, we're not going there. That's too simplistic. Rome is who rules America. The structure of America is completely Roman. The Senate, the ruler, the whole thing is set up just like Rome. That's why you have Constantine, Constitution. Constantine, Constitution. So now, the reason why that's important is because you see this exact same lifestyle in ancient Rome. You see so many similarities to America in Rome. I showed this before. I showed y'all that the Roman parties look just like the strip clubs in America. Same thing. Liquor everywhere, fornicating everywhere, people half naked getting it in. All the people with the money is the bosses. Everybody else bow down to them. Same exact setup. So now, here's my thing. This is a system you're looking at. We can't overlook the systematic aspect, because what's at the core of this? What's the real thing that's being attacked? We don't see it. And Gunn pointed this out one day, and I didn't get it. And ever since she did, it struck a chord. What's at the root of transgenderism? It's an attack on the feminine principle. Women suffer the most. Women suffer the most. And they support it the most. Isn't that something? women suffer from it the most and they support it the most. How are these two things in alignment? Because when you are born biologically male, and at some point you say you feel like a woman, how does someone born like a man know how a woman feels? And if my young man who was born male at an early age is having trouble identifying with masculine principles, it's my job to nurture that conversation and get a better understanding of what's really going on. It's not my job to put him in a dress and say, hey, well, let's just change your name to Sally. Something else is happening with the parent. When the parent doesn't have the fortitude to understand, all children blur lines of sexuality because there's no comprehension of what's actually going on. So as a parent, it's your job to explain reality. Not to tell your son if he feels like a girl. Ray J said his son really looks up to his daughter. And so his daughter wanted to be a mermaid. They were going swimming or whatever. The daughter wanted to be a mermaid. And since this daughter wanted to be a mermaid and the son wants to do everything the daughter wants to do, then he wants to be a mermaid also. And Ray J said, so I let him be a mermaid. That's because you're fucking weird. That right there is piss poor parenting. I don't care what anybody says, because a mermaid implies feminine. This is a male child. Quickly, why the fuck can't he be Aquaman? It's my job to show him the worth in who he is, not who he desires to be. So when I allow him to be what he's not, that means I've given up on what he could be. That means my son, I have no faith in the potential of him. So I allow him to be something else. Now, if he gets to an age where he's older, he understands both sides, and that's what he chooses, I got nothing to do with that. But this young lady or this dude who Ray J was talking to said her mother told her it started when they was 4. You can't have a sexual identity in that aspect. You can't be a 4-year-old boy with a desire to be a girl. That just means you spend a lot of time around your mother and you need comprehension. You don't just let it go and nurture the feminine. No, we all are masculine and feminine. You have to deal with both sides. But now let's get to I got some slides. I got some stuff I want y'all to see, man. Cause this is a deep thing. Oh, I want to say one more thing. Let me complete my thought. That's why I fucked up. But let me complete my thought. So, at the root of this, historically, they call this a Greco-Roman culture. Now, when you look at the history of the Greeks and the Romans, both were enormously homosexual societies. And once you get to Rome, it's tons of transgender cross-dressing going on. So now, and look at the Bible, it's tons of homosexuality and pedophilia in there. So you're looking at religious scriptures that speak fervently of homosexuality and pedophilia. And if you really knew how to read the scriptures, you would understand that some of your favorite people are pedophiles and homosexuals in the Bible. But you don't. You let pastor read it to you, so you don't have a clue what it really says. But my point is, we're starting to notice something. This is the habits of the people who rule over us. That's what makes this interesting. Because if a young man or a young lady is feeling inadequate at a certain age, that means they need to be talked to and get an understanding. But why is this not happening? Because the people who rule over you come from a pedophilic homosexual background. Look at Christmas. Valentine's Day. The symbolism for love is a naked baby shooting arrows in the butt. And it's called romance. Romance. So it's these things that we have to pay attention to. That's who rules over you. All your days of the week are Greco-Roman gods. Greco-Roman and Viking gods cover all your 7 days of the week. It's called the Gregorian calendar, is what you're under. Every year you celebrate New Year's because the Greeks did it. You celebrate what you think is Jesus' birthday, but no, it's the winter solstice. The Greeks and the Romans celebrated it. And damn near every other culture. The pagans celebrate, everybody celebrated December 25th in ancient times. So this is the same soup, it's just reheated. That's who controls you. So now, this is my point. We all know that all of these secret societies and all of these cults and all of these fraternities, how do they function? Religious orders, all male is where the power is at. Fraternities, all male is where the power is at. You have women fraternities, you have male fraternities, separated. This secret societies, fraternities, all of this is all male cults that control everything. You have to think about that. So now, if you have all male cults that control everything, now you look at a society that tells a young man, if he feels inadequate with women, just become a woman. Don't learn women. Don't get over whatever it is you're going through. No, just become a woman. But here's the problem. Now we have this argument, trans woman versus biological woman. See, once we start playing that game, biological woman, that's a game. Womb, man, we know what a woman is. That's a game being played. So now, what makes men in rampant numbers go from not only homosexuality, but to transgenderism, cross-dressing, and all of these type of things? What is making this shift so hard, so fast? The LGBTQ is the most powerful group in this country. You cannot speak against them. You cannot, they cancel you. All of it, you can't say nothing. So then it stands to reason you could, hypothetically speaking, be a powerless man on Tuesday and be a trans woman with purpose by Friday. Because soon as you put that dress on and say you're a trans woman, you quickly slide into a group with an enormous demographic, a huge budget, and everybody backing them. You just slid into power. Now, we watch a man, two men in the Olympics beating up on women. And then they told us some stupid shit like, she was born a woman, but she got male chromosomes. What the fuck does that mean? And we got to argue this shit. She was born a woman, but she got male chromosomes. What the fuck does that mean? Because if you got male chromosomes, you hit like a man. And I was asking people, it was crazy that everybody who wanted to argue with me about whether there was a man or not, I asked them two questions to end the argument. Did you actually watch the fights, and how well do you know boxing? Because anybody that know boxing and watch those fights, that's a man. If you know boxing. If you're somebody who just want to rep the calls and from the sideline and have a point, then you're going to think, poor Amani being picked on by these insensitive people. No, Amani's a fucking liar. Amani's a man. Boxing with his guards down, embarrassing those women who worked hard. But this is, once again, look at the word. Delusionalphobia. Let's look again. Hold on. Look at, I'm not going to call no man saucy, but look at Santana. This dude got a full-blown beard and mustache, but completely feminine. But then turn masculine and tough when he get into it with somebody. So now, it's my responsibility to play that game with him. And y'all been convinced that there's some type of privilege being overlooked. You walk around with your black skin getting discriminated 365 days a year. But I was born like this. He decided to put that dress on. And then they say, it wasn't a decision. Trans people are born this way. No, impossible. Because if you're a male, you're born with a penis. If you're a woman, you're born with a vagina. It's simple. Anything else you're saying is talking. Because from that point, your environment shapes you. So if at an early age, you're identifying with the wrong sex, that's your environment that shaped you. Because look, check it out though. If one of them white boys shoot up the school or go on a killing spree, the first thing they put on the news is the environment. He was abused as a child. He was molested. He was this, that, and the third. And the reason why they telling us is why? Because they're saying that his environment created the behavior that led to what he did. That's why they say the profile of the serial killers always be some childhood trauma. So, if either your environment shapes you or it don't, you can't have it your way when it's convenient. Does the science support your environment shapes you? The statistics support it. So that means if a 5 or 6 year old young boy is identifying as a female, his environment is creating that. You can't have it both ways. You look at black people, y'all talk down on us, and you say it's because we from the ghetto, and we've been to prison. You use all of these things in our past. Soon as y'all arrest us, you go to our past. You look at everything in our past, and you use that to build your case and hold it against us. So when we get to this guy born with testicles that wants to put a dress on, oh, now we can't deal with the background no more. Now it's not the background, we was born like this. No, see, let's look at that's delusionalphobia. We're not doing that. You have to be consistent with your stance, no matter what it is. So if you take a stance and you consistent, then your stance get put under the microscope. Be man enough or woman enough to admit if it falls short. That's how we grow. So now, in certain parts, I'm gonna play this. Well, it's a couple things I want to play. Let me shut the fuck up and get to it. Cause I'm gonna show a piece of this Candace Owens Ray J thing so y'all can see he out his fucking mind. And then we gonna okay, let me share my screen real quick. Hold on, my fault, y'all. Share the screen. Let me go find it real quick. Give me 1 second. 1 second. Before we, I save it for last. I wanted to deal with that breakdancer girl, but we're gonna save it for last. Oh, wait, before we even get to Ray J, let's deal with this. Let's deal with this. Let me see, is this the right one? Okay, yeah, this tough ass he she. Hold on, though. That ain't the right one though. I'm finna get the right one. Y'all give me 1 second. Hey, is this the one? No, damn it. I be looking at so many clips. That's why I be fucking up, but I be looking at too much shit. Here you go. Okay, here we go. Damn it. Here go Charleston White talking about this. Okay, here we go.
Saucy Santana, he.
I'm about to say, nigga, I ain't finna answer no question. You call that boy a she.
Yeah, I mean, Saucy Santana. He was you took up for academics.
Yeah,
and he came at you.
Well, I also rebutted him, and he ain't said nothing since. Yeah, I made a horrible rebuttal to him, talking about how his kind would not make it to heaven. That there's no God on earth that homosexuals can serve that agrees with their lifestyle. There's not one God, there's not one religion that homosexuals can enter into, and it's agreed upon their lifestyle. So they are detached from God. Not only are they detached from God, everybody know homosexuality is a demonic spirit, nigga. We watched this demonic spirit say with boldness, nigga, only to be, he wasn't protecting, what?
Okay, so I want to deal with that for a second. I disagree when he says, ain't no God, that a homosexual can go to, or however you put it. There is no hell. So homosexuals are not going to hell. And it's not that God is indifferent with homosexuals. He understands that homosexuals don't understand him. So it's mercy for anything that's not malicious. They will get a harsh lesson, but it'll be in love. It won't be hellfire and no scolding like that. It's just gonna be a light spanking for not seeking. But a lot of this is, like I said, it's through colonization. So God has a lot of patience for us because we colonized. And so I don't agree with that part. But I do agree when he says homosexuality is a demonic spirit. Your wires are crossed. For you to, it's simple. We make it so complicated with all of these human thoughts. Let's just keep it simple. If you're a male, you're born with a penis that goes outward. If you're a female, you're born with a vagina that goes inward. It's a puzzle. Simple. Anything else, that's what you want to do. But by design, it was simple. He made it as simple as possible. Physically, She looked different. She is strong in areas where he weak. He is strong in areas where she weak. It's the yin and the yang. He made it simple. The puzzle fit. It go in there. So anything else we do past how you were born is a decision.
What's the young sister got killed in Mexico? Shanquilla Robinson?
Yeah.
He wasn't protecting her. And I want people to remember.
Oh, shit. Where'd it go? My fault. Damn. It's my fault, y'all. Damn it. Let me go back and fix it.
We are.
I done fucked up, y'all. My fault. I was trying to find the other one without y'all seeing. I forgot I was going to change the thing. All right, here.
Now, we don't take up for hoes and bitches. And these hoes and these bitches, there was a young lady with a stellar background who had a homosexual male there who watched her get beat by women. And he was a man who could have stepped in. So don't miss me with that gay step taking up. We don't take up for hoes and bitches. And we got mothers who are women and ladies. We fuck on hoes and bitches and mistreat them and try to be respectful to women and ladies. But let me tell the sissy something. Everybody know most gays become gays by way of child molestation. Homosexuality in little boys derive from pedophilia. Homosexuality in little boys derive from pedophilia. Homosexuality in grown men come from the seeds of a child being pedophiled. It's a perversion, a twisted desire. So I'm saying to this boy girl, you said you'll fuck him in his ass. You'll rape him. And there was no outrage.
None.
But when I said it, and I'm playing, now, and I ain't said that I would do it.
Now let's get to that part. Let's get to that part. I just want him to set it up real quick. Cause all this shit finna tie in. Let's get to that part. Which one is the give me 1 second, y'all. See, I don't know. It might be this one. It might be this one.
Academic struggled to keep his emotions in check while speaking about his feud with Saucy Santana, who recently threatened to beat him up and then fuck him in his ass.
Bitch, and after I beat you, I'm gonna fuck you in your ass because you a bitch ass nigga.
Welcome back, it's your host, Nancy Brown. If you are new here, make sure you have subscribed to our YouTube channel. DJ Academics S and Saucy Santana have recently been involved in a heated feud.
Academics wants to do 3 rounds boxing with this Batiman.
Overall, it all started when Academics made some disparaging remarks about the city girls.
You move like a fag, and that's why bitches is always calling you that.
He went after Young Miami in particular, accusing her of perpetuating homophobia. Santana eventually got involved, and things quickly escalated. In fact, Santana threatened Academics with rape.
Bitch, and after I beat you, I'm gonna fuck you in your ass because you a bitch ass nigga.
I am in fear that my booty hole will be taken without my consent.
Which sparked a heated debate on social media. As a result of all of this, Academics found himself on a live stream, speaking to his viewers.
In America, I gotta sit here and just act like I don't fuck with certain shit. I would never like it.
He was visibly upset to the point of tears during the stream.
My nigga's so angry right now, he would have cried. That's the type of anger.
Yo.
It was at this point that he claimed that women support double standards and that it is acceptable to threaten men with rape.
I don't want to be that person. I want to be the person who just have fun with y'all and some other shit.
He almost sobbed as he stated that he wanted to lash out at Santana but couldn't. In his opinion, whatever he said about the rapper would result in his cancellation. Everything was a bizarre scene that quickly went viral. With this video making the rounds on the internet, Young Miami felt compelled to weigh in. She remembered Academics laughing at her because she was in pain. I was in tears when he laughed and was trolling about my car getting shot up while was 6 months pregnant, Young Miami wrote. Dr. Humor was also asked to comment on the situation. He claims that people want him to negotiate a peace treaty between the two.
I don't want to see no man getting his cheeks clapped.
The psychologist...
Umar said he don't want to see no man getting his cheeks clapped. Listen, though. This is the thing, though. Hold on. Let me get this off here. this the problem right here. How do I make this? Wait a minute. I'm trying to. I probably need to get rid of this motherfucker. Remove from the stage. There we go. That's what I was trying to do. Okay, so now here's the issue right here. Like he said, that's some double standard shit. That so a man could tell him, Divine, what's going on, kinfolk? A man could tell him, I'm gonna knock you out, and then after I do it, I'm gonna fuck you in the. Whoa, that's heavy. Now imagine if anybody was to publicly say that to a member of the LGBTQ or whatever the fuck. Bro, you would go viral as the most transphobic, homophobic, like they'd have a ball with you. But instead, he had a lot of women either didn't speak up or was supporting the other person. See, in these situations, and I'm guilty of doing this in the past, we have our favorites before the beef kick off. I'll give you a perfect example. When Biggie and Pac got into it, I was Tupac crazy. It didn't take me until a year ago to find out Tupac was bogus the whole time and Biggie ain't do shit. So I spent all of this time not liking Biggie because of Pac, only to find out 20 years later, Pac was bogus as hell and Biggie didn't do nothing. We come into these scenarios with our favorites, not understanding that these celebrities are twisted and got a whole thing going on we don't know nothing about. That Santana thing was about Puffy. That Young Miami Santana thing, all of that's about Puffy. Young Miami allegedly was Puffy's beard. A beard is somebody who pretends to be your woman because you're homosexual. Young Miami allegedly was his beard while he was boinking Saucy Santana. Or Santana, I can't keep calling this Negro Saucy. But it be whole other shit going on. So now my thing is this. What side of this are we standing on? Because what I see is men finding another space yet to oppress women. Because what's at the heart of the LGBTQ? It's one thing that none of y'all have thought about. What's the primary undertone for the LGBTQ? Now, we've already established it's the biggest, fastest growing, most powerful organization in America. And what's at the core of it? None of them can reproduce. So you have the biggest movie in America, the biggest movement in America, the fastest growing, the most powerful movement in America. And it's a non-reproductive movement. It's a non-reproductive movement. Lesbians, queers, gays, trans, none of these people can reproduce children. So this is the most effective form of birth control in existence. Think about what I just said. The biggest movement in America, soon to be on the planet, is a movement that doesn't reproduce children, which makes this the biggest form of birth control in existence, which means what? if the ultimate goal is population control, then logically speaking, wouldn't it be strategic to make the biggest movement one that doesn't reproduce? If the ultimate goal is population control, doesn't it make sense to make the biggest movement one that doesn't reproduce? Now, come on. Y'all can't tell me I ain't on fire right now. Can I please get the likes up? You in the building? You rocking with us? Come on, show your boy some likes, man. We cooking right now, and it's going to get worse. Now, let me see what my bro said. That's the point I made last week. We all take info depending on who's telling it, and how we feel about that person. That's important. That's why you thought that one that Chamberlain swinging off Megan the Man because of who you took the information from. I said I was gonna let you have it for that one. I can't believe you. Here's the thing. You don't understand what you're looking at. The people who control you have a 0% birthing rate. Traditionally, most European white Anglo-Saxon households produce 2 to 3 children. They send their ass off to college and get them the fuck out of there and live their life. Doing all kind of sick shit, whatever. The average African-American family has 4 to 6 children. We reproduce at a rate 4 times faster. And I'll take it a step further. We're not just talking about black people. It is a fact that oppressed people fornicate more. Oppressed people have sex more. Sex is it's a coping mechanism. It's a drug. So if shit ain't going that well, at least intimacy can take your mind off of it. So a huge part of oppression is baby making. So we make children 4 times more than our oppressor. So then it makes sense why the number 1 homosexual in America is a young black male, early 20s. So they getting you right around the time where you would be coming out of college, meeting your sweetheart, getting into your career, having children. That's the age that young men are turning transgender and homosexual in droves. So now they tried eugenics, they tried Planned Parenthood, they tried all of these different forms of birth control. And then abortion. All of these things were designed towards what we consider minorities. Just say people, I don't like the term people of color, but black people and anybody that falls under the oppressive flag. We'll just put it that way. And there's going to be melanated people who they're oppressing. Because melanated people are powered solarly by the sun. You're the Superman that they talk about. So your power comes from the sun. Doesn't that make sense now why it's always fucking rainy and cloudy all summer long? So you have to understand on a scientific level, spiritual level, historic level, you have to study. You have to study the oppressor, study your country, study what you're a part of so you understand what's going on. And then when people like me say you don't think of conspiracy, no. So now you reproduce way more than them. So they came up with the eugenics program. They came up with Planned Parenthood. They legalized abortion. They came up with all of these different things to slow you down reproductively. And then they put the final plan in play. Now that they got you willing to try all of these different forms of not having children, then they got two key factors going in. The number one form of music on the planet is rap / hip hop. That's the number one form of music on the planet. That music promotes no relationships, infidelity, cheating, not needing each other. And then on the flip side, the number one movement is the LGBTQ, a movement that is all about no reproduction. So the top two things that permeate your planet, hip-hop music and the LGBTQ movement, both of them are anti-family, anti-reproduction. So when you see the Olympics and the opening ceremony is full of transgenders mocking religion, and then you have the biggest thing going on in boxing is the woman that was born with male chromosomes in the penile region, but she's a woman. The guy who put the Olympic show together, well-known, huge homosexual. So you got all of these tentacles. And when I bring them up, then you say, I have some type of phobia. There we go. Delusionalphobia again. Another aspect of delusionalphobia is people who get mad at you for pointing out the obvious. There's something obvious going on. You point it out and you become the bad guy. That's a primary symptom of someone suffering from delusionalphobia. I'm telling y'all, this thing's going to be a clinical term one day. Now, this is what let's deal with something else real quick. We done with Santana. I ain't calling dude saucy. We done with Santana though. Let's get to the meat and potatoes. Let's get to the taters. It's tater time. Do I even want to deal with here's some more delusionalphobia for you real quick. This is a top. This is historical delusionalphobia. Legendary. This might be one of the most clear cases of delusionalphobia in modern history. Oh shit.
That got the internet going faster than a 100-meter sprint.
We got Ray Gun.
It was an Olympic performance
Bam. Bam, bam.
that got the internet going faster than a 100-meter sprint, with no shortage of comments and memes, even real-life creations.
Where's that music coming from?
And late-night impersonations.
Wow, Ray.
And while some found joy in it all, something else came just as quickly.
I didn't realize that would also open the door to so much hate, which has frankly been pretty devastating.
Australia's Rachel Gunn has now spoken out, appreciative of the support she has received and calling out what she says is misinformation.
Well, I went out there and I had fun.
We gotta look at her face again, though.
Very seriously. I worked my butt off preparing for the Olympics.
An online Australia's Rachel.
Right there. Look at her face coming out the tunnel. This is that I'm about to kill you bitches look. Look at her face coming out the tunnel. She looking at y'all like y'all about to get this work. Watch. This is and why y'all playing her name Ray Gun. Ray Gun. The Ray Gun. Look at her face right there. Y'all don't even. She looking at y'all like y'all have no idea what I'm about to do in this bitch.
Rachel Gunn has now spoken out,
Right there.
appreciative of the support.
Right there. Right there. That's right, Gunn. You got no clue what you in for right now, family. That's what she thinking. That's what she thinking.
Is received and calling out what she says is misinformation.
Well, I went out there and I had fun. I did take it very seriously. I worked my butt off preparing for the Olympics.
An online petition gathered more than 50,000 signatures questioning her selection and calling for an investigation, forcing the Australian Olympic Committee to release a statement calling it vexatious, misleading, and bullying, adding it has stirred up public hatred without any factual basis. It then lays out how she qualified through what it says were fair and independent events.
If you break, you know that Reagan knows what she's doing.
Toronto breakdancer or b-boy Switch
You don't
B
even look
provided
like you know what you doing. You don't even look like you know what you doing. Where they find this Negro from? So I just wanted to use that as another example of delusional phobia. I want to find a clip of her doing that kangaroo dance, but she did not do one of her breakdancing moves as the kangaroo. I don't even understand that part, but we're going to keep it moving. Ray Gunn in the building. That's what y'all need to know. In the building. Wait, let me see if we can get the kangaroo real quick. I just want to try one time to get the kangaroo.
Ready to applaud someone having a go as the next person. But that doesn't mean that every child must win a prize. I mean, all credit to our magnificent Olympian team that's bringing back a record swag of medals, but a dud performance is a dud performance. There's no point pretending otherwise. I mean, breakdancing was one of those new sports introduced to us at Paris. At best, it's a cross between dancing and gymnastics. I mean, what you can see there is some brilliant people at a recent Red Bull competition. That's what it's supposed to look like. Unfortunately, our competitor, Rachel Gunn, a 36-year-old university lecturer who wrote her thesis on gender in Sydney's breakdancing scene, well, she got precisely 0 points in 3 rounds of competition. But anyone who says that she's a pretty ordinary performer, well, those criticisms have been called out as misogyny. Now, come on, if we want to compete, female or male even, you've got to accept the umpire's decision and the views of those who watch what you do. Former Socceroo Craig Foster has hit out at it and said that anyone who's criticising Gunn is un-Australian. Now, give me a break. Any way you cut it, her performances were crap. How on earth did she even qualify? But if you listen to the Prime Minister, she's a role model, he says, who should be praised for having a crack. Now, come on. I thought the whole point of the Olympics was to celebrate competition, not mere participation. What a waste of taxpayers' money. And what a cheap shot to claim justifiable criticism isn't allowed because Gunn's a woman. I mean, that's embarrassing to all the magnificent other female athletes.
All right, Ray Gunn in the building. I just wanted to show my homegirl some love. I just wanted to show my homegirl Ray Gunn some love. I'm gonna find the other clip, man. Y'all bullshit. Y'all bullshitting with my peoples. Ray Gunn in the building, y'all. One time. Okay, here go Ray Goofy.
Claim friends, and I'm like looking at them like, come on, be for real. But now I can't even say that.
So some people are faking it.
Well,
it's just a social. That is what adolescence is. And that's why I say, quite jokingly, but kind of also seriously, bring back cigarettes, because now there are just an explosion of children who think they're non-binary, think they're transgendered. No matter how you estimate it, you know that there were not this many people that were struggling, and like they didn't all become transgendered. And so it is part of this is becoming a contagion, social contagion, which is, well, social contagion is real, right? So if you see me smoking cigarettes, so everybody starts smoking cigarettes. I mean, that was the reason why cigarettes got popular. You put them on a poster.
When you hit the cigarette and you try to smoke it, you can't inhale it, so you cough like.
Yeah, but we stomped out cigarettes. So there used to be the majority.
Oh, okay. If y'all haven't seen this, Ray J gonna make it his business to say a bunch of shit that doesn't even matter, and he tries to say it so calmly, like he's merging these two cultures. That's what he wants to. He wants to advocate for the two cultures and make everybody. Let's just have this conversation. Face ass. Okay. Here, man.
Majority of people in America were smoking cigarettes, and it was because of advertising, right? So people were looking, the doctors were telling them it was healthy. That
Smoke on the plane.
Exactly. So that used to be a thing in America. And then dial it back, they did the exact thing, reverse marketing. And we were suddenly learning in school, everyone did the DARE program, and they kind of stomped out cigarette
With
smoking.
the dog.
Yeah, they kind of they stomped out cigarette smoking in America. And that's actually a joke that Europeans make. Americans don't smoke cigarettes. And so we know that advertising works. We know that you can influence behavior. And that's why I say bring back cigarettes, because now I feel that when the kids were trying to rebel against their parents when we were young, people were like smoking cigarettes, maybe smoking a joint. Now they're like, I'm non-binary, and kind of being sent down this pathway, which for those who really are just struggling with adolescence, there isn't really a way back. So if your child came to you at 17, Ray J, and said, I am born into the wrong body and I want to take puberty blockers, what would you say?
Hey, boss. Okay.
Said I'm fine. Me the babe, see you in the morning. With the frosted Superman, but it wasn't on it.
My fault, y'all.
Well, as a parent, man, my kids are 4 and 6. You don't really know how you're gonna react, but I know for me, I want to be the parent. My kids I want them to be able to tell me anything, like the darkest, the most complicated, like what they're really going through internally, externally. So I would be super open for super support, right? That's the kind of dad I am. Even with my son, he's 4, but there's been times where he's been around and we were shooting, whether it's a movie or something, and there was a lot of women around, and he said, Dad, I love the girls, right? And I went, okay, got it. I mean, I don't know if I should bring him in now because you're only 4, so I wouldn't do that. But hey, that's what you like right now. You came to me and said it. You even told your mom, where are the girls at, Dad, in front of moms? I said, son, we gotta, and so I would just be there for them. And I think as society grows and as everybody gains more knowledge, and you have friends, right? I have friends that are straight, I have friends that are gay, I have friends that are trans, and these are my close friends. And so me personally, I don't care, but I also understand that it's for them to make the choice, not for them to be programmed into a choice that they might not be familiar with, and they're just following the trend, right? So that's where you straddle the line with everything with marketing and promo. But for me, I mean, I'm in full support of whatever my kids want to do, and
Heroin.
Well, I mean, not that.
Pornography.
Not
That's
that.
not comparable.
But I'm saying,
He said,
like,
I'm in full support of whatever my kids want to do.
if
And it
they,
is comparable.
meaning like if they were doing that, please come tell me.
Yeah,
so I can help you. Like, don't push me out to where you don't feel comfortable with telling your dad that you got a problem, right? So yes, I will be in full support of listening to them and helping them. So as honest as they can be, I want to be the dad to make them feel like anytime I'm going down, anytime I'm going up, whatever, I'm gonna always hit my dad and tell him what's going on.
I'd like to, I would love to say, I would love for you to comment on that, because you said it's not comparable to your kid participating in pornography. And it's not comparable to your kid doing heroin.
Right.
Why would you say that?
I just wanted to piggyback as well off the cigarette. Like, I'm giggling in my head because it's true. Like, I have to agree with you. It's like, even like in my hometown, it's just, whoa, all of a sudden everyone's a smoker. Where did that come from? So I did it kind of giggle at that point, but I want to just make it very clear. And I'm going to open up a can of worms here, because let's be honest. And I said at the start of the interview, I'm trans and I'm speaking for myself. So I'm an individual. So you might be with me and be like, okay, like she's got some points, like whatever, and someone else could come across as literally crazy to you. So once again, I can only speak from my perspective, but I want to make it very clear that there's 2 points. So with the whole, where did all this trans and non-binary come from? We have to remember that as a society, we are forever evolving, and sometimes that's in not the best ways, let's be honest, because sometimes the world's becoming something that we wish it wasn't. But also we were in a place of not only oppression, but where people were, it's like that silence or the gag order where you can't speak up, depending on jobs and discrimination and serving for the country, whatever it may be. So a lot of people, it's been documented that were suffering in silence, and they weren't able to do what we can now because we live in a world where it's more accepted. But to piggyback over that point, I also want to make a statement that as a trans person myself, I'm shocked sometimes because I
guess you consider himself to be an ally of the LGBTQ plus community, and he showed a map of transgenderism across the United States. And he said, well, if this is not a social contagion, can you explain to me why so many kids in LA are trans and yet kids in Ohio? And he showed it on the map, and he's well, that shows you it's a social contagion. Because just to bring back the session, I'll get that clip to you later where he shows the map of the trans, where transgenderism is happening. And obviously in that clip, he's talking about puberty blockers. And you said you were 17, that you then realized there was something else that was going on with you. But, you know, just speaking about the development of the human brain, your brain is literally not developed at 17 years old.
Okay, see, that's the thing I was looking for. I should have time marked some of these things. So that's one of the things I was looking for. The age in which these things are happening, where you're these young adults or teenagers or children are saying, okay, I want to be a female. What she just said is because what she tried to suggest is because society was so oppressive, that's why we're just now seeing all of these trans people. So all of these people were gay, homosexual, and trans, but they were just scared to come out because society wouldn't allow it. Now, while of course that was true in some instances, you can't put that blanket statement over the whole thing. What the reality is, what Candace Owens was hinting to is marketing. We know marketing plays a huge role in this. So you have an influx of movies that are now showing gay relationships, same-sex parenting, transgender, all these things are being shown on television. And then one could say, well, they're being shown on television because this is the way the world is. No, they were being shown on television before the world was like this. And so there is a young lady that can't, I got to stop saying that. They got me in this bullshit. It's a dude pretending to be a young lady that Candace is interviewing, and they say that they were just feeling inadequate, didn't know what it was, and then they saw a show with transgenders on it. And from that point, that's what they sought to become. So what this is this right here. You live in a society that is very judgmental and oppressive. It's have and have-nots. Children are brutal because they're born and raised into a system of classism, where if you have something, you have worth. If you don't have anything, you're worthless. So I remember as a child being with friends, and kids would do what they call playing the dozens, where you talk shit about each other. And the primary thing is that we're calling each other poor. A bunch of kids from the same neighborhood, we're all broke as fuck, talking about that's why your mama on food stamps. That's why y'all so poor. All of us are poor, and all of our mothers got food stamps. I remember back when food stamps was in a little book, and you was ashamed to take that book to the store and show that you had food stamps because that meant you was poor. Now y'all whip out link cards like it's a black card. It's not that society is becoming more open. so more people are coming out of the closet. They're giving you options over solutions. I'm going to say that again. They're giving you options over solutions. So if I come to you with a problem and I say, if I talk to my best friend, I say, hey, me and my wife are not getting along. And it's getting really bad. What you think I should do? Options is, man, fuck her. Let's go outside, party, and meet these bitch ass. Solution is, well, do you really love her? Have y'all really talked this out? Is it any way that you're at fault? What can you do to save your marriage and get closer to your woman? Options over solutions. Options is always easier because I don't have to deal with the problem. So now how does this apply? If I'm a young man and I'm inadequate when I talk to women, as opposed to you finding out as maybe my uncle or a male figure, finding out where that inadequacy lays, where I'm uncomfortable, how I really feel, and then coach me from that point. Or you say, well, you know, if you're having trouble with girls, that's not the only option. You know, it's okay if you decide you like guys. Wait a minute. That ideology may not have even existed in that child's mind. Now you just, instead of a solution, you gave another option. So we got to a point where we've optionized everything. And so now nothing's concrete anymore. All rules all guidelines and parameters have become bendable and able to fluctuate. So then there's no parameters anymore. And that's when it gets dangerous. Because now what they're pinning for, see, everything goes in steps. First, they had to get you okay with saying, it's okay if you don't like the sex that you were born to like. Just like the other sex. That was an option over a solution. And on a societal level, we fell for that. But then that wasn't good enough. Because now, as a homosexual, there's a psychology there where you understand something is being, there's a boundary line being crossed here. So then what has to happen is, in order to make this right, this is why you see one of the men take on the feminine nature. He's assuming natural order. There has to be a masculine and feminine energy. It's the way the Creator created it. So when you get two masculine figures together, one of them has to convert and live in all femininity in order to make this work. Now there's no balance there. So now the problem is your attraction is to a man. So when you have a man that's pretending to be a woman, that's gonna wear itself out because your attraction is to a man. So in order for it to stop messing with your psyche, you have to take it a step further and become a woman. Because that's the natural order. So if this was a normal thing, why does a man have to become a woman in order to like men? If you like men, just be with a man. Why do you seek a man that looks like a woman? Why has that become the go-to move? Why do men have to step into the lane of women to be with men? Because you know the natural order is masculine and feminine energy. So in order for y'all to make this union work, someone has to get lost in their feminine energy. And this is why there's so many mental issues connected to homosexuality and transgenderism. There's a lot of mental, and they've been conditioned to think that the problem is because society is bullying them. No, the problem is you're presenting society with something that goes against reality. And then you are feeling some type of way because your delusion is not being accepted. You expect people to just say, okay, you could be a girl. But since that is not being done right away, then you become psychologically affected, mentally unstable. Because wait a minute, I feel like a woman. I'm a woman, can't you see it? And when the rest of the world doesn't look at you and see that same woman that you see, you become mentally unstable. Because here's the problem. I didn't fit in with guys, so I must be a woman. Now I've done everything to prove that I'm a woman, and I'm not accepted over here either. That's where the mental problem comes in at. And you pass the buck by blaming it on society, saying they're being transphobic, homophobic, I'm being bullied. No. You're suffering from a mental breakdown, and no one is telling you the truth. You cannot see what we want to do is normalize abnormality. If I wake up as a man and I can't shake the feeling of being a woman, I am having a mental breakdown. You don't come and nurse it. What's the difference if I one day decide I feel so abnormal, I want to harm people? You don't help me go shopping for a fucking weapon, do you? You find out what's at the core of this desire and you try to help me with it. So now, if someone born with a penis or a vagina, a woman born with a, now let's flip it. A woman born with a vagina, 2 X chromosomes. So she's missing that Y chromosome that is responsible for, the testosterone and all the things that make you a man. The manly, her muscle capacity, bone structure, all of these things are different from a scientific perspective. Yet she wakes up having a completely different physiology from a man. She gets to a point in her life and says, I feel like a man. That's a mental disorder. Because here's what happens. You have a female who says, I'm so over men that I've decided I want to be with women. Okay, your choice. Why does that woman then begin dressing and behaving like the men she's tired of? You don't want to be with men anymore. You're not attracted to them. So how are you attracted to a woman that dresses and behaves like a man if men are no longer your attraction? What you're dealing with is inadequacy to communicate with the men that you desire. And no one has stopped and had the conversation with you on how to do so, because the people who are raising you don't have this ability either. When women reach the point where they're tired of the behavior of men, that doesn't mean desire women. That means switch the men that you're choosing. Someone who's dated 10 men in a 30-year time period, when there's billions of people on the planet, will deduct all men ain't shit. How is that possible? You've dated 10 men in 30 years. How do you reach these conclusions? Your numbers are so fucking faulty, it's ridiculous. And we can't go dating a billion people until we find the one we like. So what's the real issue? The real issue is behavioral and selection problem. We have a behavioral problem. We do not know how to treat one another. Behavioral problem. And then comprehension. We don't understand each other. So if we knew how to behave better and had a better understanding, we wouldn't reach the conclusions. Now you could take that and add that, apply that to anything. Anything that you have a better understanding of, you have a better success rate. So if you're reaching the conclusion that all men ain't shit and you've only been to 3 states in your life, it's impossible for you to be right. The first thing females want to say is they're not a hoe or they're not promiscuous. If you're not a hoe or you're not promiscuous, that should mean you've had sex with under 10 men or 10 men. If you've had sex with more than 10 men, that's the real issue right there. I said, if you as a grown woman have had more than 10 sexual partners, that's your real issue. It's not the men. You don't have a fucking clue what you want or how to appeal to the men you desire, or how to desire different men. Well, that goes back to what you want. So what we don't like to do is take the blame for our behavior. If you are a man attracted to other men, yet the men you desire are transgender, that means you're a confused victim of sexual assault. And you're programmed. But now people say you can't just say that about people. You have to think about it. Somewhere in there, some wires got crossed. Because listen to what we're saying. By definition, a male homosexual means I or he would be attracted to another man. That implies 2 men are attracted to each other. But if I can only reach the full potential of this attraction by this man dressing and or behaving like a woman, that means I actually still like women. I just don't know what to do with them. Because if I didn't like women, I wouldn't desire a man that behaves like one. Your wires are crossed. And the people who are responsible for this, they understand this. This is why they promote this over relationships. Who on this planet promotes healthy heterosexual relationships? You have a whole Pride Month. Where's heterosexual anything? The divorce rate is horrible. The #1 genre of music promotes mindless sex and no relationships. It promotes men and women not needing each other. The number one movement on the planet promotes no children. We have to look at these things and understand what's being done to us. Like I say, and this right here, this should be the nail in the coffin. The two biggest things on our planet, both of them promote anti-family and anti-children. So when you look at that, then you have to ask yourself, who's behind these things? And why? And so if we say who's behind it, we'll come up with, everybody will have a different answer, but it'll be something diabolical. Some people might say the Illuminati, the Masons, the Anunnaki. We'll have all of these different things that we say could be responsible for this, that, and the third. What that means is we understand that there's a thing going on. We understand there's a thing going on. We just don't like to deal with it. That's the issue. We know exactly what this is. We know there's something. We just don't like to deal with it. And that's what makes it tough, and that's what makes it ugly. This is a transgender right here, sitting next to Ray J. When asked, is that a real woman? Ray J says unequivocally yes. This is someone who was born with a penis and had hormone blockers and went through the surgery and had breast augmentation to actually become a female. What is happening in your childhood that leads to you being born as a man but only feeling comfortable once you've become a woman? And what does that mean for real women? Because what happens is, if men can get Women of the Year magazine, then what do women get for being women? If men who can't biologically have babies has a science field that continually works on different ways so that men can be with men and bear children, what does that do for women? So you have cloning on the table, you got AI robots on the table, you got artificial womb on the table. So with all of these three things, and then you throw in the transgenders, you have now rendered women obsolete. What's the purpose? Other than just sex. With only, and that window's closing, because if everybody's being converted transgender, then the window of men who only desire women, that window's going to close too. So then what do women become? They become unprotected fodder in the middle. Men, if the men are converting to transgender, that means they're desiring more men. Men are converted to homosexuality, they're desiring more men. If the women are converted to transgenderism, then they're desiring more women. So the new thought is men be with men, women be with women, and procreation becomes artificial. Isn't that complete population control? If you had a society like that, it would never grow unless it grew digitally. It could only grow at the keys of a computer. That means somebody would be 100% completely in control of reproduction on this planet. And there would be no more resistance of the government. Because sexuality would become the focal point of our society, as if it isn't already. Sex is the focal point of our society, but they're converting it to sexuality. So the most prominent thing on the planet is about to be sexuality. What gender you choose. The new classism will be gender. Heterosexual will become like dinosaur fossils. You'll be if you're still a heterosexual couple or someone who has that ideology, you'll be looked at as old-fashioned, outdated, and weird. And then some people will say, "Well, what's wrong with that? That's free." That is the exact opposite of what God created. Now, you in your limited wisdom can think that, well, then God doesn't know what he was doing. You're a human. Shut up. There's never a moment where God doesn't know what he's doing. It's other beings that are clueless to what's really happening. So the reality is someone has an interest in same-sex relationships that don't repopulate. Now, I find that ironic, seeing as how most of us are aware of the desire for population control that's been written about all throughout history. And they talk about it every election. Kamala Harris talks about it. Well, if boys like boys, girls like girls, that means nobody makes babies. But we can clone you one, or we can create you one in an artificial womb. Or if you're more on the go and don't have that kind of time, you just get you a bot. But remember, no babies. And why? I learned this as a Panther. The general used to always say, the youth inherit the revolution. So who's ever going to get us out of this would have to come generations down the line. Well, if y'all support not having babies, then there will be no generations down the line. They'll completely contain reproduction. And you'll allow it because you think men have the right to wear dresses and pretend they're not men. And then in the same breath say, the women are unprotected. Where are all the real men? You keep saying it's okay for them to wear a dress and hang out with y'all Saturday night. If these men are at a space where they have not learned what it is to be a young man, and the females don't allow them to come over here and say, well, since I can't figure it out over there, I'm coming with y'all. When do the females stand up and say, you're not one of us? You need to go figure your thing out over there. This went too fast. This is just all I can say. It was so much to cover. I had so much more to tell y'all. But what we're gonna do is Conscious Conspiracy Cave. That's where we're headed. Y'all y'all give me like 5 minutes and we'll be in Clubhouse. More than likely I'm finna make a smoothie and then open the room up. Or I'll probably open the room up now, to be honest with you, because we're a little bit late. So as soon as I leave here, I'll open up the room and then we'll go from there. We're going straight to Clubhouse. Knowledge is the only real power. Information is the only real currency. But the application of both is the route to divinity. I love y'all. I'm gone.